Hey, how's it going? It's Mo with moswebtips.com, and I have a special treat for you today. I'm with Larissa. Larissa is a Facebook, or should I say social media expert. She has worked for Preferred Facebook Developer, as well as our Preferred Facebook Developer in order to increase engagement in the social sphere. She has also worked for companies like McGarry Bowen, most recently for Ad Age's Agency of the Year, and a whole bunch of other things, but to basically keep it short and get right down and dirty, what she's going to do with us today is she's going to take a look at a Facebook fan page that I have for my Shaka Costa Rica beach retreat where we do surf and yoga. And she's going to critique it, give us some examples of mistakes maybe that people make or how to improve it and how to get our Facebook pages looking and operating and engaging and becoming more, I guess, efficient. And without any further ado, I'm going to put her on. And Larissa, why don't you go ahead and take over?
All right, hey guys, it's Larissa. And essentially what I'm just going to do is look over everything, and I don't like to call it mistakes. I like to just point out where you can enhance what you already have. Because I do think there are a lot of good things going on the page. And, there's just like little tweaks that you can do to really, engage your guests. And by engaging other users, that'll then show up on their pages and their friends will see that and then be coming back to the Shaka fan page. So what it essentially is doing is not only letting like your current fans feel more involved, but other people will then come here, see that it is, this like sort of like Shaka Surf Costa Rica community on Facebook, and then they'll want to get involved with that as well, and so it'll just create this very like organic traffic.
Okay, can I ask one really quick question before we start? Because I think a lot of people are curious about this. So everybody knows that Facebook has just recently pretty much switched everybody over to the timeline. Can you give us some insight on why they did that maybe? Why everybody, because a lot of people were confused and a lot of people were like, oh, I don't like it, I don't know how this works.
Well, I mean, Facebook is always looking to be one step ahead of everything, online. And they've made some really big changes. They typically do every like year and a half, and every time everyone hates it. Yeah. And then everyone loves it. And then they change it again and everyone hates it. And then everyone loves it, and you don't even remember how it was, 2 years ago. One of the reasons they did this is, Facebook is definitely one of like the front runners of how people really treat the internet now. So it's really about like very visually stimulating, so it makes it very like quick experiences. So you're able to look and continue to go. What I think now, especially with timeline, is you're really able to get you're able to absorb a lot more information just by scrolling down the page, because you see the way things are organized. So you have all like your posts right here. So if you're actually looking to read, which not many people do, they have the posts from others. They're sort of like put together, so it almost like reads more like a story. And then when you have other things featured, like when you guys are putting like your links, like it just gives it more prominence, to where before this would have had equal prominence to even your other posts on here. Same thing, they group the likes, so now it's a like story. It's not just like randomly put in there. So it creates like its own even like prominence to that, where you can easily see, okay, like these are the other things that Shaka likes, to where, this is something that would have gotten lost in the shuffle before. Also, I mean, and then most importantly, because, people are so visually driven nowadays, like it gives you like most prominence to the pictures that you're posting. Before it would have been just a small thumbnail, or, even something maybe, what was it? I think like a quarter of the size of this I'd be showing, and it just all sort of got jumbled together. And now what it's doing is just creating like unique stories and putting similar things together, so that, you're not just, your eye isn't just running right past it. It actually like it creates its own group.
Okay. All right, so I guess we should just get right down to it.
Yeah, so what I like to do is sort of like go through the things that you're doing really well, and then talk about, how you can enhance those so that more people will engage with people.
Okay.
So to start out with, the profile image and the timeline photo, or the cover photo, if you will, you guys have chosen. Like, you definitely want something visually stimulating, so I think you guys have chose a really good cover photo. It really gives like the vibe of Shaka, and it sort of like it sets the tone of the page. So I think that's awesome. Your profile picture, you definitely having your name in there is huge, just to reiterate the brand, and then having your logo, so something that people can identify you with. Like, that's perfect. So you guys totally nailed that there. So then moving down. So you guys are posting links, promoting yourself, letting other people know that you are, recently listed in the best 10 destination surf camps around the world. Like, that's great content. It's pertinent to what you guys do. That's one of the things you guys do really well is everything
Is related.
Everything is related, exactly. Like, you don't want to, be like, congratulations
Monster
on the
trucks.
Super Bowl, unless maybe it was Tom Brady, because, he has
a place.
He is
right
a
here.
Shaka friend. But, you wouldn't want to congratulate, like the Giants. You don't know anyone on that team. It doesn't connect back to Shaka like
Gotcha.
that. So you guys do, that's definitely something that you want to continue to do. Showing people pictures of the interior of Shaka, like what they can expect, like that. Again, like, these are amazing pictures. You guys are really like choosing like the right imagery. You don't want to be putting poor images up there, or things that just don't immediately make sense. Like, I can look at this and I know this is a room. I look at the other one and I see that's a bed for two people. Even these pictures over here, like, you clearly see like people went ziplining. It just is there's no explanation needed, and I think that's so important, because in order to really like hone in and utilize your images to the best of their capabilities, like, that's what you want to do. It shouldn't be an explanation needed. Not to say you don't want to write a caption, but people should be able to look at it and know it. Like, they shouldn't be confused, because then they're just going to go right on to something else.
That might be a little bit out of...
But even so, actually, I think it's still, a lot of people come to Shaka, Costa Rica for a vacation and then leave wanting to make a life or career change, or just start a new adventures in their life. This quote still relates back to, this like lifestyle that you guys are leading. So to go into some of the ways I think you guys could enhance things.
How we can make some improvements.
And get, people more engaged in here, is I would say is ask questions. So everything should, invite people to also add on. It shouldn't feel like something like forced, or, just a like. So for instance, like here, it's a lot of people come to Shaka. I'd already read it once. I suppose I won't again. Maybe you could ask, so let me think of it. Change just our nurturing lives. Like, I would maybe ask, like, what's your next adventure? Or
Gotcha.
Are you anyone out there thinking of a career change? Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Things like that, because
get it going, like a jump start.
Exactly. Like, it seems like it's interesting, because you think like, oh, well, if somebody wanted to talk about something related to that, they would just say it. But really, it's an interesting dynamic, but people need to like feel like invited. They need to, they need that sort of like welcoming to like, what is your 2 cents?
You have to elicit their action.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's the perfect way to put it. So for instance, like, super fun canopy tour, right? Like, after I post this, I would have, put something like, what are your favorite places to go ziplining? Or what do you like best about, like, what's, like, Shaka fans, like, what is your favorite part about ziplining? Or like, what's the best place you zipline? Just like starting a conversation that's, related back.
It's something that is so simple, but it's probably overlooked all the
Exactly.
Usually,
It's I would say, one of the most common things that are overlooked Absolutely, by most like really large brands too. And it's just a very simple thing. And I'm telling you, like once you just start like asking these questions, you'll see. I promise you, like you'll see the engagement spike. Like
then,
even like 10 destination surf camps around the world slideshow. So it looks like you posted a comment after it. What I would have done is sort of like led up to it, like thanks to all of our Shaka guests, for helping us become one of the top 10 destination surf camps
gotcha.
by Frommers. And then, like somehow like relate it back, like when will we be able to see you again? Like let's keep this going for next year.
Gotcha.
Who's coming soon, or I'm not a copywriter, but I think you guys get the idea. You you want to make everything inviting, like never, otherwise it's a missed opportunity essentially.
Okay.
So another thing I would say is I think you guys do a really good job of, and I would continue it, is making sure that you post like pretty regularly, but at the same time don't spam your fans. So you don't well, and that's actually twofold of why you don't want to do that. Oh, Peepa. She's so cute. So one of the reasons you don't want to do that, so for the people who are very engaged, in your page, like that'll start being all they see, because with the algorithm, because they're involved in your page, like they'll be seeing that a lot. And you're like, oh, these are friends, like they want us to see it a lot, like, but it can become too much, It's sort of like your friend online who just like,
well, if you spam,
that tells you like every single breath that they've taken during the day, it starts to feel that way, no matter how interesting it is.
And then you start hiding there, and
exactly.
And then next thing you know, yeah.
So and then the other side of that is if you post too much and it's somebody who's involved in a lot of things, what's going to happen is they're not going to see all of your posts. They're only going to be seeing maybe like one of the 3 that you posted that day, because they're so heavily involved, it starts to even things out. So then they've missed out on, maybe 2 other posts that they would be more likely to engage. So I would say, like at max, I wouldn't post things more than twice a day. Mm-hmm. And then, making sure you post like at least a few times a week, just so people know that
they don't fall off.
You're still there. Exactly.
Okay, so and our profile, did we take a look at that? What did you think? Is there any tips on, any of the things if people are, the about, if people are going to go there?
I mean, I think you guys do a great job here. So again, like you have like the basic info, like you have the location, where it's at, the contact, the website. The about is very short and to the point. About pages, I would say, especially for something that's very niche like this, that doesn't need a lot of explanation, like Shaka Beach Retreat sort of says in itself, this is good, because then people can come here, they can quickly read it, they get a little bit more. I guess just being here and knowing a little more what you guys are about, I would maybe, like, I would put hone in a little bit more about like the surfing. So maybe like its own sentence there. But otherwise, I think, you guys have really just kept it like short and to the point, which is good. But I would maybe put a little bit more emphasis on the surfing, since that is, a lot of what you guys are about here.
Our primary draw is
exactly.
Surfing. Yep.
But otherwise, you don't want to clutter that too much. If it was something more unique, like for instance, if Mo's web tips had a fan page, like I would be more like specific, like what type of web tips, it's
Gotcha.
something that's not as self-explanatory.
We actually do have a fan page, but
so there you go. So
it's raw. I want this one's been around for a few years, so I figured this would be a good example.
No, absolutely. So something that's not as self-explanatory, you think needs those few extra bullets, definitely make sure that you're putting that information in there. One other thing that I noticed that I wanted to talk about. So people directly post to you, like they want to have these conversations with you. Mm-hmm. I think most of the time you guys like the comment, which is great, but I would respond, like talk to them, especially if you do just have like one or two people running the fan page, like it's fine, to sign it like from Laura, from Frank, so people know that they're actually talking to someone who they're talking to. And it really, I think, would help. Like, it's such a personal like experience here where you guys really just take everyone in and make them feel like friends and family. I think you should continue that on your fan page where you're just like having these conversations, like don't be afraid to talk to them.
I'm guilty of that. People will put a comment,
Yeah.
and I'll like it, or I'll be like, oh yeah, that's great. I'll answer that later, and then I never will.
I would
definitely think
right then.
Definitely guilty of that.
So I think that's good. And then, like I said, like you guys do such a great job, like here, like really making everyone feel like friends and family.
Continue the experience.
Absolutely. Like the work you are doing is amazing. It must be so rewarding too. Like, oh, what an amazing opportunity to really like engage that. And then, Cindy writes back to you and it becomes this conversation. All of Cindy's friends are going to see that.
Right.
It's like, how many friends on Facebook does she have? And
is that also a real common mistake that a lot of big companies make?
Absolutely. Or they'll do like auto responses. So it really feels like you're talking to
robotic.
a robot. Absolutely. Yeah, you really just want to respond to people. You want them to know the person who's responding to you has a heartbeat.
Gotcha.
That's not these auto responses. And I think people really appreciate that because, Facebook is replacing a lot of in-person interactions.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to utilize that where you can. And then also, come on, free advertising. Free advertising to all of Cindy's friends who, see in her feed are now going to see that whole conversation, are going to like see, more about like what you guys are doing. Because, like, the work you're doing is amazing. Like, they don't know what that is.
And if you look, you'll see.
The more you talk about it,
almost all the comments that are showing up, none of us have answered to.
Yeah, you like it, which, you're halfway there.
Halfway there.
See?
That's more like a quarter way there.
Yeah. I try to keep it a little positive. I think you guys are doing a great job. So,
no, this is going to help out a lot.
Absolutely. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, the other question I have is, I think people that are listening is, and this is probably one of the biggest questions, is, what are some key ways to get your likes up? Because I think, like legit likes, not buying them on some website where they're like bogus likes, but like to really increase likes, because I think that's one of the most important things, especially for a brand new fan page, that they're, you can ask all your friends and this and that, but you might still only have like 50. But,
right.
Like social proof is so important these days. If somebody sees that you got 10,000 or 5,000 or at least 500 likes, I would imagine people are more prone to also like it, as opposed to a page that only has a couple likes or less than 100.
Right. Well, again, going back to something, where you start a conversation with somebody who's posted on your page, like that goes to like the organic friends, or I guess not friends anymore, likes. Sorry, it's my old school Facebook terminology. So, that's like a great way just to organically like have people see that. Also, them just seeing like something that they're interested in. So, I would incorporate like more posts maybe about surfing, and asking, maybe like posting even like tips for surfing and asking if anyone else has any tips, Make it also...
So this is trying to basically get more likes out of the likes that you have.
Yeah,
or the
like
people that happen to be there.
Making it the community, like you guys specialize in, like the surfing, and then also...
What about like advertising and things like that? Do you think that's something that really pays off to try to advertise and get more likes? Or do you think that the amount of people that are actually going to retain and stick, because they're not personal, they're just kind of finding you out of the blue? How do you think that? You think
I think big brands, they, even advertising on Facebook is still essentially very similar to buying your likes. If you're not doing something specific that you're really trying to drive people to, if it's really just trying to like build the community, build awareness, I wouldn't advertise on Facebook for it. But what I would do is I would advertise that you have a Facebook fan page, on collateral that you already have, just utilizing that. So, making sure that's prominent on your fan page. Things, maybe items that you guys have around the beach retreat, like in your room, be like us on Facebook.
Gotcha.
Just again, it seems like things that people should just know to do or do automatically.
Business cards and things like that.
You really just have to like hold people's hands. Yeah, like on your business cards, like I would, like us.
One of the things I do here is when people come to Shaka, I try to put the computer in front of them and I'll log on and I'll be like us. Because they want to like us, but as soon as they leave, they're going to forget to do it. But they really want to like it, and once they've liked it, they'll follow it.
Or what I would even do, because I think a lot of people when they're on vacation are like, computer. Like,
I do it at the end. I do it at the end when they're about to.
What I would do is I would send them an email and, thanking them for staying with you and don't forget to like us on Facebook.
I usually do it in the rancho after they've had like a few beers, and I've got some
peer pressure people
moonshine guaro, and I'll be like, hey, log in and like us. And they'll be like, oh, usually they're pretty happy.
But yeah, so that, again, it just goes back to... It goes back to, taking the personal experience that you guys provide for, like, people here and just taking it one step further, sending them that email and asking them to like you on Facebook, because all that and it takes is just one click.
Okay, I have one more question that I noticed that just came to mind. Is I noticed, because on my Facebook I have multiple fan pages. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that you can go on other people's fan pages and comment using an identity, a different identity. That's something new, right? Because I don't remember seeing that where you could...
Fairly new. I can show you how to do that.
Do you think that's a good way to drive traffic? I mean, if you go and comment engaging comments and you're using your fan page identity, I would think that people would...
Old client. No big deal. No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, let me show you right now how to do that, and then I'll go into the cross page promoting. Okay. So you click admin panel, or actually I think you need to be on the home page because it's different now that they've changed to... Okay, so use Facebook as. So these are pages that I'm all an admin of. Mm-hmm. And so what you would do is, if I wanted to use Facebook as Brunch Me, that's a page of mine. So then now I'm Brunch Me, little coffee cup.
So now you can go search?
So then I could go.
Shaka, and then I gotcha.
So we'll go back. Beach retreat. Is that right? Hang on.
That's the website.
Pages. Come on, internet.
Yeah. One of the things
so basically then you could go there, and then when you're ready to be yourself again, or you want to be another page, you can go back and go ahead and change it. So I'll go back to my profile to Larissa since it's not loading. So what I would say, let's see, it should tell me that I just recently thought I liked it. Maybe it didn't go through. Okay, and let's go back to the page. Shaka Beach Retreat. There we go. But yeah, especially some of your other neighboring businesses around here, like I would even, say like, hey, why don't we get together and, maybe like if you're like running any sort of like deals or, wanted to like promote like maybe like a restaurant, so that they would like post something on your page, they would post something like maybe on their fan page, just something about you, or, then you could post something on your page about them. So, I mean, I would even do that there. I guess that's a little bit different from going back and forth between, actually posting as Shaka. But yeah, you should other like local businesses that you're friendly with, like post on their page, because then also people are like, who is the Shaka Beach Retreat?
So reach out and find the other and post as your profile.
Yeah.
Reach out to Related or other businesses and get. Okay.
But I would always like, do it in like a very like friendly manner. Like you don't want to do it and
don't try to advertise on their site.
Yeah, you don't want to be like stealing away, and like I would have that conversation. Even I'd have the conversation, if you are like friends with the actual owners and everything, be like, hey, what I think would be a really great idea is, if I write something about my fan page, I have like 600 whatever fans, you have so many fans, and this way, you can say something like our friends at, or, this new restaurant just opened, those in Santa Teresa, Playa Hermosa, you should really check it out. Like, here's the link to their Facebook fan page, and they can do the same, like just was surfing with Moy at Shaka Beach Retreat. Great place, yada yada. Again, not a copywriter. But just, sort of like, and people like that sort of like camaraderie, and like, then just the location in general becomes more of like a community. Which which it is. So
which is what Facebook's about.
Exactly, but then it's even like showing like the community you guys like have in real life, like here,
right?
Playa Hermosa and Santa Teresa.
And that builds our authority, and it makes it so people feel like they can connect more. I'm sure.
Yeah, it takes that personal experience one step further.
And I know that people have told me that when they were interested in coming here, they devoured like everything they like looked through every post,
yeah.
They looked through everything. They went to anybody that was like, that we talked about, and they really like went through everything. And and so I definitely what do you think? I mean, do you think businesses that aren't utilizing Facebook fan pages yet are missing out a lot? I mean, do you think that's such a big thing these days?
Yeah, because more people spend time on Facebook than they do with their families, like half the time. Like people are at work, they check it, you're on your way somewhere, you check it on your phone, you're bored at night, people are checking it. It's really, people are spending a lot of time on Facebook. I would say, it's the most popular bar in the world. It's the most popular playground, like wherever it is that you typically hang out. Almost everyone is on Facebook, and it's becoming less.
Growing still, yeah.
It's growing still, but also, different like companies and businesses who are on Facebook, it's becoming less like advertising and more of, starting that conversation.
Gotcha. All right, so thank you very much. That is awesome. Those tips, I definitely was taking some notes. And I think you're right. A lot of those are kind of common sense, but just people overlook them. I guess they don't realize the importance to some of that stuff that you should keep up to date and all that.
So to recap, I would say just a quick, things to look in. Make sure that you are posting like these clear images that speak for themselves, no explanation needed. But still write some sort of caption with a question. Always, ask your fans to engage. And then also, respond to people who are posting on your page. They are interested in talking to you. So I would definitely, continue that experience and continue that conversation so that everyone can see, just how great of a brand that you are and that how much you guys do care.
Okay. I do have one last question before we wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Facebook apps out there. Would you say do you know of any apps that you would recommend for, say, new businesses or businesses that are trying to increase their, do you think it's necessary? Do you think there's any really amazing apps out there that you would say, yeah, that's a good app you should probably get a hold of?
It's definitely a personal preference, but my opinion on that would be the applications, it's sort of something that's very much dying, especially with timeline. You no longer have a tab on the side that lists them all. You really just get maybe a thumbnail, and people aren't really looking at that. People are looking on your wall. They're looking at the conversation. They're looking at the images. The apps have to be very specific and very, very niche
Gotcha.
to a brand and what they're doing in order for them to work, I mean, I think usually the return on investment just isn't worth it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Larissa. This was invaluable information.
Yeah, no problem.
We have other people behind us that are taking notes as well, that are very quiet in the background. So I hope you guys got some good notes taken. And you can check me out. I may have some more information. And Larissa's also a LinkedIn expert. And she's maybe possibly, if I can get her to do overlook my LinkedIn page, but maybe later. But check moswebtips.com if you're at YouTube or wherever you found this, or if this is in a podcast. But anyways, that was great. Thank you, and until next time.
Yeah, no problem.